Government starts the phasing out of subsidies on LPG. Subsidized LPG price hiked by 4 rupees every month. All subsidies to be eliminated by March of next year. Karnataka wing of AIADMK writes to State Chief Minister, demands a media gag on former DIG prisons and whistleblower D. Rupa. Mumbai University sets itself a new deadline for announcement of results. Says the evaluation of answer sheets will be completed by 5th of August.
पूछती हूँ आपको, मेरी बहन गई है, बहन, मेरी सास गई है, मेरी छोटी बेटी गई है, हो क्या रहा है इंडिया में?
आज मेरे घर के, मेरी माँ, मेरी वाइफ, मेरी 3 महीने की बच्ची, क्या कसूर था उसका? अब मेरे तीन का पैसा जमा करके इधर घर लिया है।
Housing Minister Prakash Mehta issues orders to provide alternative accommodation to the survivors of the Mumbai building collapse. Survivors will be shifted to a slum rehabilitation building in Ghatkopar. Brazen hooliganism caught on tape. TRS leader's son assaults toll plaza staff, threatens to stab another employee. All this over a toll fare of 30 rupees. Is the deadly internet game Blue Whale Challenge responsible for the death of a 14-year-old boy in Mumbai? Friends claim the teenager was playing the game. No suicide note recovered. India's big win over radicalism. Forces gunned down Lashkar Chief Commander Abu Dujana during encounter in Pulwama. A massive victory for our forces. Good evening. You're watching The Big Story with me, Apni Raja. Straight up, prices of cooking gas cylinders will be increased monthly. Now, the government has ordered state-run gas companies to hike subsidized LPG prices by 4 rupees every month. This is being done to eventually eliminate all the subsidies by March next year. The Rajya Sabha had to be adjourned after opposition raised the issue.
Certainly, the rise of LPG cylinder prices by 4 rupees every month is definitely going to impact the household budget. Currently, the subsidized LPG cylinder is costing somewhere around 447 rupees, and the non-subsidized is already costing about more than 500 rupees. And an increase in 4 rupees will, make people aware of how much, cylinder gas they are using for cooking. And when we talk about what the Prime Minister has already mentioned, he did say that we want to do away with subsidies on LPG, which, there was a campaign by the BJP as well, where a lot of people were told to give up their subsidies. But considering that a family of 4 would use, an LPG cylinder of 14 kgs from anywhere about a month in about 25 days, and after 25 days you will have to buy another LPG cylinder, and also the amount is 12 cylinders a family is allowed, and this will definitely make them wonder as to whether we should be saving on cooking gas, or whether we should be looking at methods to cook and changing it, because it's going to be expensive for a family who cannot even who doesn't earn more than 20 to 25,000 a month, and it is certainly going to be a burden on their expenditure, especially after the GST has come in with many goods and services which have become expensive. We were also talking about how household commodities have become expensive. Certain products are now expensive, including basic commodities like biscuits and etc. So a hike in the LPG gas cylinder is definitely going to set the citizens back and put them on a back foot, and it's not going to augur too well, for the government as well.
We expected this, and nothing new. All that eyewash and that thing that surrender your LPG, give this subsidy to the poor. My sisters in the villages are now cooking without smoke in their eyes. Okay, now we just go back to those practices of finding coal and lakdi to cook our food. And anyway, we can't afford it. Very soon we can't even afford to cook.
क्या पैक करेगा? थोड़ा सा कम खा लेंगे, सब्जी नहीं बनाएंगे भाई, रोटी खा लेंगे और क्या करेंगे? अब अच्छा नहीं है तो हम सरकार तक पहुंच ही नहीं सकते, क्या करेंगे उसका? ये अच्छे दिन की निशानी है।
हमारे घर में तो बहुत असर पड़ेगा। हमारा आदमी बीमार है, मैं औरत अकेली कमाने वाली हूँ, हमारा कोई बच्चा नहीं है, लड़का जो कमा के देगा। बताओ हम कहाँ जाएंगे? हम कोटी में बर्तन मांज के हम खा रहे हैं, और उसमें बिजली का बिल भी हमारा बढ़ के आता है और सिलेंडर का भी हम बढ़ेगा, तो हम गरीब कहाँ जाएंगे? राशन भी बंद कर दिया।
परेशानी है, बजट सारा नुकसान इसी में है। आदमी जितना जो कमाता है अगर इसी में देगा तो उसको कुछ तो मिलेगा नहीं इसमें। तो मोदी ने करा क्या हमारे? कुछ नहीं करा। अच्छे दिन आएंगे, अच्छे दिन तो हमने देखे नहीं अभी तक।
Meanwhile, Union Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has said the subsidy won't be cut down and will only be rationalized. He says the uproar over the price hike is in fact baseless.
With corresponding increase of other parts of the country, thereafter the price will be periodically revised based on the increase in the paying capacity as reflected in the rising per capita income. मित्रों, ये पुराने निर्णय को हम लोगों ने जब जिम्मेवारी संभाली, दो विषय पे जोर दिया: एनर्जी अफोर्डेबिलिटी, एनर्जी एक्सेसिबिलिटी, एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी। यह हम लोगों की सरकार की रणनीति रही। बिजली की एनर्जी हो या कुकिंग गैस हो, मोदी जी की सरकार आने वक्त देश में 14 करोड़ एलपीजी कनेक्शन था, जो आज बढ़ के 21 करोड़ हो चुका है।
We are strongly condemning this. You see, this is the government which conducted a big campaign under Prime Minister, with Prime Minister's photographs all over the country, say, under the slogan of "Give it up." They were telling those who could afford to buy cylinders without subsidy to give it up so that the poor can be given subsidized cylinders. Now they have started increasing the price of cylinders so that the subsidy itself can be wiped out. That means every month 4 rupees is going to go on till the subsidy is wiped out. That means all this was a total joke. The poor now have to pay the full non-subsidized amount for a gas cylinder. So this is a very, very heavy burden on the people, and this is something that is not acceptable. Government must immediately reverse this decision.
All right, joining me on the phone line is Narendra Taneja, BJP spokesperson. Thank you very much, Mr. Taneja, for joining in. My first question to you is, we just heard the Union Petroleum Minister, Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, say that, subsidy is not going to be cut down, it will only be rationalized, and this entire uproar is baseless. I just want to get you to explain what really does that mean, saying that this entire uproar is baseless?
Well, if you look at it, it is baseless, because here what we are talking about, you see two things. First, the fact first. LPG, the amount of LPG that we consume in the country, the bulk of it is imported, which means that you pay the price which is prevailing in the market, and secondly, you also have to pay that in US dollars. So that part also has to be factored in. At the same time, we are taking LPG to maximum number of people across the country, which means the volumes, of course, have gone up. And at the same time, look at the inflation rate. Inflation rate is substantially down today. Across the board. Take any item except tomato that we are working on. I mean, inflation. So which means that people have more money than before, because the kind of, the kitchen expenditure has come down. And if you look at what we have offered is only to increase it by 4 rupees. That's it. 4 rupees per month.
4 rupees. It's 4 rupees every month until the entire subsidy goes away. That's what it is.
Yeah, but the subsidy, this is over a period of time. This is going to be over 1 year, 1.5 years, depends how much time one needs. But it's only 4 rupees, and that is precisely the reason consumers, the people, they are not protesting. It's only people in parliament, some politicians, many of them don't even understand.
Mr. Taneja, we spoke to a lot of people. We spoke to a lot of people who are going to be impacted by this. In fact, if you stay on the line, I'm going to ask my producer to play out those bites so that you can hear what people have to say.
पहला हम लोग को पहला 450, पहला 350 था, बाद में 450 हुआ, अभी 550 हो रहा है, तो अभी उसके आगे होगा तो और महंगा हो जाएगा ना, तो आगे नहीं बढ़ना चाहिए।
कैसा समझ रहेगा? अरे लोगों को पगार नहीं, पानी नहीं, कंपनियां बंद हो गए, मिल कामगार बंद हो गए, ये एरिया जो है तो कामगारों का एरिया है। और इसमें ये सरकार हम बोला कि अच्छा सरकार आया करके हमको ऐसा वोटिंग किया कि दिल्ली में भी सरकार आया, राज्य में भी सरकार आया, लेकिन ये क्या है, क्या सरकार को बोलेगा अच्छा दिन आएगा, ये कैसा अच्छा दिन आएगा?
और जो महंगाई के साथ में अपने गैस का जो भाव बढ़ा है, हर महीने 4 रुपये, 4 रुपीज़ हर महीने बढ़ा, तो साल का होता है 48 रुपीज़, तो 2 साल में 100 रुपीज़ जाएंगे।
महीने में 2 तो लगते हैं, हमारी फैमिली ज़्यादा है, तो अभी 2 को कितने लगते हैं, 1000 रुपये तो चले जाता है, फिर वो 1000 रुपये उनको दिए पीछे, फिर हम लोग क्या खाएंगे? सब चीज़ तो महंगाई है, सस्ता क्या है? आज मोदी बोले लगे हम सस्ता करेंगे, किधर सस्ता करेंगे? इसके ऊपर टैक्स, उसके ऊपर टैक्स, हाँ, तो गरीब लोग समझो क्या खाएंगे?
घर चलाने के लिए तो बहुत मतलब तकलीफ होती है। अभी तो सबके भाव बढ़ गए, सब्जी के भाव बढ़ गए, सबके मतलब टोमेटो तो इतना भाव मतलब हो गया कि कुछ खाने का के कुछ रखने का ऐसा हो रहा है।
Right, Mr. Taneja, you just heard a lot of people really saying that this is really going to pinch their pockets.
Well, similarly, as you have done your survey, you would appreciate that as being a political party, we're very close to the people. We know precisely what's happening on the ground. So we have done our own survey before actually taking the decision. And our survey, people are appreciating that we have taken LPG to practically 2.8 crore, new consumers. And people are extremely happy about it. And there are lots of other people, they are saying the inflation rate is low, is very low. And at the same time, more people have access to LPG. What they want basically is that we ensure that, LPG is available to maximum number of people in the country. I understand whenever you increase the price, whether it is of, a television channel subscription or of LPG or anything, nobody wants to pay more, even if it's 1 rupee. But 4 rupee, you see, we're talking of only 4 rupee a month, and that again, that is to protect the very poor consumers. And over a period of time to make sure that people have access to LPG, more people have access. We are targeting now additional 1-2 crore people who would have access to, especially the people at the bottom of the pyramid. So look, when you look at the total economics of the whole thing, availability plus the kind of comfort and plus accessibility, and look at the economics of that, most people are happy with it. But of course, there would always be some people who would complain. And at the same time, if you take your camera and your microphone and say that nobody wants to pay more for anything for that matter.
Right.
That's a human nature.
Right. I'm also being joined by...
We are very sensitive to what people want, and we are doing everything in accordance with the wishes of the people. And I just want to say one thing. The wishes of the people are the command as far as BJP is concerned.
Right.
Their wishes are command.
Right. I'm also being joined by Bijon Mishra, consumer activist. But before I go to Bijon, I want to come back to you, Mr. Taneja, specifically ask you about the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, for which 8,000 crores was earmarked, and 2.5 crore women who were given the connection for free. What really happens to all of that?
No, it has been given, as you know, that, that was given for free, as you know it. And the response is fabulous from the ground. The people have never, ever, imagined that they would have that kind of, fuel available to them for cooking. And now today are enjoying it, and more people are demanding. So we are now also working the economics so that we can take it to maximum number of women across the country. And that's precisely our target. But as I said at the beginning, LPG is an item which is also heavily dependent on imports. And imports prices keep fluctuating. We have to pay in dollar. That also keeps fluctuating.
Right. Mr. Taneja, if I can interrupt you, I want to just understand this. The first cylinder will be free, to get those people, like you said, to get them access to LPG. But after that, even they would have to give up the subsidy eventually by March of next year?
No, you see the price is going to be increased only by, if you look at the number, the total number, what we are basically out, the total subsidy is in the region of about 70 to 80 rupees. So over a period of time, that would be, when you increase by 4 rupees per month, over a period of time, the subsidy would disappear. But that's the decision, that's the kind of economics which has been finalized today. We don't know what happens tomorrow. If tomorrow, since LPG, these are international commodities, if the prices shoot up, go further, government would have to relook at, the whole thing, and to make sure the people don't suffer, especially those who are below the poverty line. So this is a commodity which is an international commodity, and you can't take decisions when it comes to pricing of petroleum products, including LPG, and cast them in an iron. That's never done.
Right. All right. I'm going to go across to Bijon Mishra now. Bijon, thanks for joining in. I want to get your thoughts on this entire issue that LPG subsidy is going to completely be phased out by March of next year.
You see, let me tell you, nothing is free. Everything we pay for, either it is an out-of-pocket expenditure or it is the taxpayers' money. The poorest of the poor in our country, they also pay tax. So they have indirect tax in terms of anything they are purchasing, product or service, they are being taxed on that. So nothing is free. So let me first make that very clear to your viewers. Viewers must understand that the political game is that in the garb of free, they try to show as if they're doing a big favor to the citizens, which is very wrong and misleading. Let me tell you that. And for us as consumers, we feel that we are not being given a fair price or a value for money when you take a lot of money from us in terms of taxes, and then you don't use that money efficiently and effectively, due to which poverty increases in our country and the poor stays poorer, and even a person who is above the poverty line becomes poor because he is not able to access number of essential services at the price which he can afford, like healthcare. You know, so what the government must understand is that taxpayers' money must be used efficiently and effectively and made accountable. You see, today you see the perks and the privileges and the salary increase which the elected representatives are getting. Why doesn't BJP raise this issue on their own in the parliament? Why keep quiet when the opposition are trying to raise this issue and say that we will not take this subsidy, or we will not take these perks, or we will not enjoy taxpayers' money, and we will use that money in terms of increasing subsidy in LPG, or increasing subsidy in healthcare, or increasing subsidy in education. Today you see in education, only private sector is prevailing all over. You go to the villages, you see there, the private schools and colleges are mushrooming and charging huge amount of money from the poor citizens. And there is no option because they don't want to send their children to government schools because they're not functioning. There are no teachers. So my contention is that this, in the garb of subsidy, please do not mislead the citizens. It is high time BJP took a strong position on this and came out very clearly saying that we will use subsidy only to ensure that we reduce people below the poverty line.
Right. Mr. Taneja, would you like to respond to Mr. Mishra?
Well, broadly speaking, Mr. Mishra is right. I mean, in the sense that, subsidy, after all, if you have to give it, it has to be the people who are below poverty line who need subsidy. Basically, what you're trying to do is that those who can afford and who have got surplus money, you're taking from them and give it to the people who need that. So, but as far as petroleum products are concerned, let's not forget one thing. We are heavily dependent on imports because we are not as blessed as Saudi Arabia or Iran. So when you're talking, but at the same time, look at the, you would admire the kind of initiative this government has launched in terms of Ujjwala and all that, to taking it to those people who otherwise could have never imagined that they would have access to LPG. And, when you get the connection, it's for free. So the government, but at the same time, in order to make sure that you are consuming only when you need to consume, at the same time create the awareness that, look, this is not something to be wasted. It's very important that you pay for it. And even we have done our own survey and people are very happy. They're not really saying don't increase by 4. What they're saying is they want to have easy access. They want to make sure that, they have sufficient amount of LPG available to them when they need it, and more people are demanding LPG. That is the focus. But as far as if you go strictly by politicians in Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha today, they are doing it without understanding the economic. They just come out, why have done, why you increase it, decrease it, and all that. They think it might become a kind of political tool in their hand. But I think they're mistaken. People are much smarter than these people who sit in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. It's opposition parties.
Now, Mr. Taneja, two points. One is there was, of course, the entire Give It Up campaign encouraging people who can actually give up subsidy to do so that other people who are unable, who perhaps could not afford it can be encouraged to use it. And the second is, if I'm not wrong, there was at one point a discussion about, creating a sort of an income, saying that it was announced that individuals earning more than 10 lakhs will not be eligible for subsidized LPG. Now, I just want to understand that there were talks about that, but that didn't really come through. Why can something like that not be done instead of just taking off subsidy altogether from people who even may need it?
No. You see, that was done, and a number of people actually decided to give up, and that, of course, was a big movement, and people responded to it. And many of them, people not only just responded, they actually even wanted that government should be charging the market rate from them. Millions of people said that. And and now when you are increasing, let's say 4 rupees by this thing, all those people are getting subsidy, and about large number of people, they will not get it. You see, let's not forget one thing. If you have to work on the economics of 4 rupees per month, and if you want to create 2-3 different systems, managing that system also costs a hell of a lot of money, millions and millions of rupees. The question is that just to manage that kind of system, would you cost more than the total amount of subsidy? So I think you have to look at the economics of the whole thing and the vastness of the country. When you look at the LPG system across the country, is probably the largest in the whole world. And look at the reliability. Wherever you go in the country, from Mizoram to Gujarat and from Kashmir to Kerala, you get LPG everywhere, you get petrol everywhere, you get diesel everywhere. Even there you can't find water, you will find LPG, diesel and petrol.
Mr. Mishra, I want to come to you now. In terms of this LPG subsidy specifically, and the fact that it's going to be phased out by March of 2018, there are not going to be any more LPG subsidies. What is your take on that?
You see, my take is that if you are removing subsidy, then you have to make yourself transparent to make us understand what the saving will lead to. How will a citizen improve in terms of their quality of life if you have taken away that subsidy, and let us know that how you're going to efficiently use that subsidy saving on what purpose.
Right, and obviously you believe that the government has not been able to do that as of now. Mr. Taneja, can you please respond to that?
Like very correctly said, very correctly said, you see, the point which I want to make is, today the governance cost in our country is the highest in the world, let me tell you, if you look at the per capita income of our citizens. You see, there is no accountability in terms of governance efficiency.
Can I come in?
Yes, Mr. Taneja, go ahead. I want you to respond to Mr. Mishra in the point of transparency that he's bringing up.
Let me show you. If you go to the website of Indian Oil or Hindustan Petroleum or to the Government of India Ministry of Petroleum, you will find the complete breakup of every single paisa, how the price is calculated on an LPG cylinder. You just have to go to the website. It's all on the net. So it's the economics of the cylinder that you...
That is what we are trying to say, Mr. Taneja. That is exactly what we are trying to say. That when I look at those figures, I don't find from year to year there is efficiency coming out of those figures. You see, what I want to tell you that when I compare it with the similar services around the world, I find that the figures which they are showing, year to year there is an improvement in terms of efficiency. But in our country, nobody is talking about efficiency.
Can I come in?
Yes, Mr. Taneja, please.
Yeah. You see, Mr. Mishra, let me answer it. You see, this is a sector I have specialized in all my life. India is one of the most efficient countries when it comes to, refining, when it comes to over distribution of petroleum products, since we have always been heavily dependent on imports. Right now, our dependence is 82%. So in terms of efficiency, I think we are probably among the very best in the world. You compare India with China, compare India with other developing countries, but we happen to be the only country, large economy, which is not as blessed in terms of the, oil and gas reserves. As other countries. Even China is 50% independent. We are not, unfortunately. There's nothing we can do. No government can do about it. Whether you are blessed with oil and gas or you're not. So there's nothing you can do because this is something geological. But as far as the management is concerned, the management of this is pretty good. Subsidy is a totally different issue. It's largely a political issue. And we think that the time has come, to move in the direction.
It is not that. Well, let me tell you very candidly, I'm not an expert on this subject as you are, but as a layman, as a lay citizen, I can only understand the amount of taxation which is imposed on petroleum products in our country. It is fairly very high compared to the other parts of the world, number one. Number two,
I will request your viewers to go immediately and compare the prices with the United Kingdom.
No, I want to tell you very categorically, you please compare in terms of per capita income, please.
No. It cannot be compared on per capita because
let's understand
we are heavily dependent on imports.
What is our,
all right, Mr. Taneja, Mr. Mishra, thank you so much for joining in. The question, of course, still remains the fact that there are a lot of people who are below poverty line who require these subsidies, people who need to use subsidies to cook and require multiple cylinders in a year and who are going to definitely face the pinch. All right, breaking news coming in. Minister of State for Home, Ranjit Patel, announced that acting Baikala Women's Prison jailer Tanaji Garbhadwe has been suspended from duty. Former DIG Prison Swati Sathe will be interrogated in the Manjula Shetty inmate death case. A report will be submitted in 15 days. All right, let's go across to Richa, who's been tracking this story. Richa, what's the latest development? Just take us through the details.
That's right, Avni. This latest development of the suspension of the acting jailer of the Baikala Women's Jail Prison comes a day after the Bombay High Court reprimanded as well as rapped the state government as well as the police officials for not carrying out their investigations and acting on this whole matter of the death of the inmate Manjula Shetty in a proper manner. And when it comes to Swati Sathe, who earlier had withdrawn from her position as the head of the inquiry that was to be submitted and to be carried out within the Baikala jail premises, it also comes, the inquiry on her and in the investigation on her also comes after she had gathered and tried to gather some support when it comes to the 6th jail accused in the matter relating to the death of Manjula Shetty. So this clearly shows that the state now finally is taking cognizance of the whole issue and holding the higher authorities within the Baikala jail premises also accountable when it comes to the death, the custodial death of the inmate Manjula Shetty.
Right. Now, Richard, there has, of course, been a lot of to and fro, and you've been tracking this from day one. There have been several teams, several commissions who visited the Baikala jail who are trying to find out what really happened. What are the various angles that are involved at this point? Because there are several reports that are also being expected to be filed, submitted as well. What are the various angles at this point that we're looking at?
That's right, Avni. Various angles have erupted and various committees, be it the Women's Commission, the Child Commission, or even the 30 MPs who visited the Baikala jail premises, clearly shows that there is a lot of limelight on this whole matter now that it has taken cognizance. But there are certain things that still remain uncertain, specifically when it comes to the death of the inmate Manjula Shetty, which has all from the very beginning created a lot of confusion as well as ambiguity when it comes to exactly showcasing what led to the death. Right. Although the 6 accused have been arrested and they are at the Thane jail right now, but the question still remains as to why are the authorities taking so much time to come to a conclusion when it comes to the investigation. Even the crime branch, when they had the custody of these 6 accused, could not find much apart from just taking the statements of these 290 inmates.
Right. All right. Thanks, Richa, for getting us those details on that developing story. All right, that's all the time we have on The Big Story. But for more news and updates, keep watching Mirana.